Welcome back. So in this section, we're going to talk about finding an artist. I think for me, this was one of the more difficult steps. You might have a lot of trepidation about picking the right artist and making sure that you're satisfied with the artwork that's coming your way. And also importantly, you have to consider what kind of book you're writing. A really great artist could be perfect for one book, but might not necessarily be great for another kind of book that you're working on. Just to give you, clear example, for SWAT books, and that's very cartoonish, Saturday morning cartoon style, and for something like Doc Rot, it's more grounded, more dark. So you just want to make sure you have the right artist working on your book for the tone that you're going for. And then, once you have that in mind, you can start your search. I can just tell you my story with working with Fiverr. Now, I think Fiverr has, some critiques and some drawbacks, but I think if you're starting from absolute scratch as a writer, that's probably the best way to go. And the reason being is that a lot of the legalese, I guess, is built into the platform. So when you hire an artist to work for you, you can make sure that you have access to commercial use. You can publish the work on your own, and they can use that work in their portfolios as well. And all of these things are, like I said, they're built into the platform, so you're not signing a contract that you made from scratch with another person. You have the protection of the platform. Another way the platform protects you would be with protecting your money, right? So if you spent money on a project and the artist doesn't come through, or they take too long, or they ghost you, or whatever the case may be, you can get your money back, right? Whereas if you're giving money to somebody to start a project and then things fall apart, well, then you're in trouble, and you need to get a lawyer to get your money back, or you might just never see that again. So that's why I'd recommend Fiverr, at least as a starting point. And then once you have sort of a rapport with the artist, then you can migrate off the platform, which the artists themselves kind of prefer. So when starting out with any artist on any platform, I would recommend doing a test page or two with them. Hire them to do 2 pages and see how they do. See that the artwork comes out to your satisfaction, and see that that the artist is reliable, professional, timely, and so forth. So I'd recommend doing a couple test pages first. Make sure you like the end result, and then offer the entire book, or whatever it might be in it, whether it's an 8-page story, 22-page story, or a graphic novel, whatever it is. I would recommend doing sort of an audition of sorts before you fully commit. The other thing about comic book making in particular would be, sometimes you're working with multiple different people to produce the artwork. So there's pencils, inks, colors, and lettering. So that's up to 4 other people you could be working with. In my own experience, I've been lucky enough to work with artists who do essentially the pencils, inks, and colors all in one. And I think that's more and more common today, just because of the digital age, and how accessible some of these art making technologies are. So I think it's more common for artists to just kind of do the whole thing. And so in the case of the books I've published, I've just worked with one artist and one letterer for each book. Actually, for Swapbugs, the artist even did the lettering on top of everything else. Um, so he really, really just did everything. Apart from Fiverr, of course, there are other platforms that are available. Plenty of things: ArtStation, Instagram, Facebook. There's a subreddit for comic book collaboration, um, which is how I met the letterer on Doc Rot, actually, and then X or Twitter. So there are other ways to approach artists, but Upwork would be another one as well. Maybe similar to Fiverr in that sense. It's a platform you're going to a marketplace for artists, effectively. So if you do end up using a platform other than something like Fiverr or Upwork, you'd be making the contract on your own, or perhaps with the help of a lawyer. But the main things you'd want to cover in the contract would be financing, right? If you're the writer and in a sense you're the producer of the book, particularly for an independent book, you need to know, what's the artist's page rate. You need to decide how, and if you're going to split royalties, what that would look like. And I would tell you, for independent comics, on the back end, there's really not going to be a lot of money. So artists would probably prefer, more upfront payment. So just understand that and have savings ready for that if you're going to pursue this. And within the contract, you want to be able to describe what each party is doing and give a very definitive timeline. You also want to stipulate any revisions that would want to be done. So if you see something that you want to change when the artwork comes back, the artist's probably going to, put a cap on like 2 revisions, right? Because they don't want to be abused either, where, you just keep telling them to do something over and over and over again. Eventually they're going to say no. And 2 revisions is very much enough, I think, at least in my experience. Particularly if your script is clear and your layouts are clear and you communicating well what you want to be in the book, then that's usually what you end up with. And so, those are, that's a very broad overview for the contracts. Like I say, the third-party platforms you use will have all of that built into it. But you still want to understand the price and the timeline revisions and what everybody's role is going to be in creating the book. So those are the 2 topics we'll cover in this segment, and I will see you next time. Thank you.